first thing we need to understand is what is given to us in this question. So you can see here spherical oil drop and its radius is given to us, and also the density of oil is also given. So what we need to find in this, we need to show that mass of oil drop is equal to this one. So how we can answer this one? So the first thing we need to understand what is given. So simply we can write down the radius is given to us. So radius is equal to 1.2 times 10 to minus 6 meters. Density is also given to us. So we can write down density is given. So this is equal to 940 kgs per cubic meter. Next thing what we need to find is the mass. Now, so the first thing we need to find out the relationship between mass and density. So this we simply understand mass is equal to density times volume. So now question is that how we can find volume. So the volume of sphere, we need to understand that volume of spherical shape, or simply we can say sphere, that is equal to 4 by 3 pi r cube. So this is how we can find volume of sphere. Now here is the mass, so simply we can write down mass is equal to density times volume. So now we can replace volume with 4 by 3 pi r cube. Next step, we simply need to plug in values. Density is given to us, that is equal to 940 kgs per cubic meter, and the second thing given us is the radius, so we can plug in value of radius, that is 1.2 times 10 to minus 6. So if we just use calculator, we will get this is equal to 6.8 times 10 to minus 15 kgs. So this is what we were trying to find, and this is our final answer. Okay, let's try to answer part 2 now. So first of all, we need to understand what question is asking us and what is given to us. So it is given to us that oil drop is charged, so simply we can write down the oil drop is charged. And we need to explain why it is impossible for a charge to have this magnitude, means this much of charge, 8.0 times 10 to minus 20 coulombs charge. It is impossible. So how we can answer this? So the first thing we need to understand that E is equal to 1.6 times 10 to minus 19 coulombs, and this is called elementary charge. So we call this is elementary charge. So what exactly it means elementary? So elementary simply means that the smallest possible charge. So simply we can say that the smallest, we can say the smallest possible charge. Now if we compare this charge with elementary charge, so we will say that 8.0 times 10 to minus 20 coulombs is less than elementary charge, means it's less than 1.6 times 10 to minus 19 coulombs. So that's reason this is not possible. So we can simply say, so that is not possible because this charge is smaller than elementary charge. Now the next thing is that how we will write a proper answer for this one. So to write a proper answer, so here this is how you can write proper answer. So the smallest possible charge on oil drop is 1.6 times 10 to minus 19 coulomb. So 8.0 times 10 to minus 20 coulombs is not possible. Okay, so let's try to answer part B now. Part B. So in this case, electric field is given to us. So the first thing we need to understand what is given to us. So we can say the separation between plates is given, that is 8.0 millimeters, and also the electric field is given to us, that is equal to 2.1 times 10 to 5 volts per meter. Now, what we need to find. So the question is asking us, we need to find out the potential difference V between the plates. Mean that if we attach a voltmeter here, so what we will read from the voltmeter. So simply, if we look at this, if we attach a voltmeter between these two plates, so what we will read from this voltmeter. So that is what we need to find out. So to answer this one, we need to understand the relationship between delta V. So we need to understand what is relationship between delta V, E and D. D is the separation between plates. So you can see in this case electric field is given to us, that is equal to 2.1 times 10 to 5 volts per meter. So volts per meter. Now also we need to be careful with units. So distance or separation between plates is given, that is not in SI units. So we need to convert into SI units here. So now if we just multiply these two, we will get the value of potential difference between the plates. So if we simply multiply, we will get that is 1.7 times 10 to 3 volts. So this is up to 2 SF. So that's a wonderful answer. That is also based on the data. You can see it as 2 significant figure, and final answer also have 2 significant figure. Now let's proceed to B2, the second part. So the question is asking us, we need to explain how the motion of the oil drop shows that it is in equilibrium. So first thing we need to understand, what is condition for equilibrium. So a condition for equilibrium is that the resultant force, so resultant force are simply we can say the net force, that has to be equal to 0. So sigma F has to be equal to 0. If the sigma F means resultant of forces on any objects is equal to 0, it means the object is moving with a constant velocity. So simply we can say as the object is moving with constant speed, so resultant force is equal to 0, and we can say that oil drop is in equilibrium. So this is how we can answer. So here you can simply say that constant force, so no resultant force. So it means oil drop is in equilibrium. In this question, we need to find the amount of charge, and also we need to find the sign of charge. So as it is given to us, there are two forces acting on the charge. So the one force is the weight, and weight always acts down. Force due to gravity has to be acting down, and the electric force has to be acting upwards in this case. From here we can simply understand electric force has to be equal to W, and W it has to be equal to mg, and electric force has to be equal to E times Q, and here it is equal to mg. So what we need to find is Q. So simply we can just rearrange this one, and so here if we rearrange, so mg divided by E, so we can just plug in values and we can find the value of charge. So you can see the mass is given to us, and also value of E is given, and G is a constant. So we can write down mass first of all. This is 6.8 times 10 to minus 15 kgs, and the G, that is equal to 9.81 newtons per kg. So this is newtons per kg, and divided by E. So E is given, that is equal to 2.1 times 10 to 5 volts per meter. So if we solve this one, we will get that Q is equal to 3.2 times 10 to minus 19, 10 to minus 19 coulombs. Minus 19, this is 10 to minus 19. So we can write the amount of charge, that is 3.2 times 10 to minus 19. Now the question is that how to find or how to determine the sign of the charge. So next we need to determine the sign of the charge. So now you can see as the electric force is acting up, and the charge has to be negative because it is attracted towards positive plate. We understand positive charges, they attract negative charges. If this charge is attracted towards positive, it has to be negative. So simply with this reasoning, we can find out the charge has to be negative. So this is how we can answer. Now the next question is asking you, explain why oil drop accelerates downwards. Now first of all, it is given to us the magnitude of the potential difference between the plates decreased. So we need to understand that E is equal to electric field, that is equal to delta V over D. Now if we decrease this one, if delta V decrease and E has to decrease if we keep D same. And also we need to understand F is equal to E times Q. So if E goes down, F also has to go down. So based on this reasoning, now we can say as the mass is not changing, it means the weight is constant. So this force decrease. So we will see electric force decrease. So it means there is resultant force now. So here is resultant force now. And so we need to find direction of resultant force, that has to be down. So this is over F net, or we can say this is over resultant force, its direction is down. If resultant force is acting down, so we can also say acceleration by Newton's second law also has to be down. So acceleration has to be down. So we can write acceleration is down. If we have this understanding, then we can write a proper answer. And here are only 2 marks for this question. So let's try to write a proper answer now. So this is how you can write a proper answer. You can say the electric force decreases. You will get 1 mark. But weight stays same. So the weight, it means, is greater than electric force. So the resultant force is acting downwards. So this is how we can answer. So that's all for today and for this video.